I told my girlfriend she can leave after she belittled me in front of her friends. My girlfriend Jessica invited me to her friend Ashley's birthday party last Saturday night. I was actually looking forward to it because I'd only met her friend group a few times, and I wanted to make a good impression. The party was at this trendy rooftop bar downtown. I showed up wearing my nicest jeans and a button-down shirt, thinking I looked pretty decent. Jessica was already there with her friends when I arrived around 8. Everything started fine. I bought a round of drinks for everyone and was having normal conversations about work and weekend plans. But then I made the mistake of mentioning that I'd been learning guitar in my free time. Ashley asked if I was any good, and I laughed and said I was still pretty terrible, but enjoying it. That's when Jessica jumped in with this weird tone I'd never heard before. "Oh, please. He's been playing the same 3 chords for 2 months, she said, rolling her eyes. "It sounds like a cat's dying. I have to wear headphones when he practices." Her friends laughed, but it felt uncomfortable. I tried to play it off and change the subject, but Jessica wasn't done. When someone mentioned they were planning a ski trip, I said it sounded fun, but I'd never been skiing. "That's because Jake's afraid of everything," Jessica said loudly. "He won't even go on roller coasters with me. Last month at the fair, he made me ride the Ferris wheel alone because he was too scared." Now everyone was staring at me. I felt my face getting hot. The Ferris wheel thing was true, but I have a real fear of heights that Jessica knew about. I'd explained it to her after a bad experience I had as a kid. I quietly told her we should probably talk about this later, but she kept going. When someone asked what I did for work, Jessica answered before I could. "He works at that little insurance office on 5th Street. It's not exactly exciting, but hey, someone has to do the boring jobs, right?" She patted my shoulder like I was a dog. "I work as a claims adjuster, and I actually like helping people after accidents and disasters. It's not glamorous, but it matters to me." Jessica had never talked about my job like it was embarrassing before. The worst part came when Ashley mentioned she was thinking about getting a motorcycle. I said I thought they were cool, but probably not for me, and Jessica completely lost it. "See what I mean?" she said to the whole group. "Jake's scared of motorcycles, scared of heights, scared of trying new restaurants. Dating him is like dating my grandpa, except my grandpa has better stories." Everyone went quiet. A couple of her friends looked genuinely uncomfortable now. I sat there for a moment, processing what had just happened. This person I'd been dating for 8 months had just spent the last hour making me look like a complete loser in front of people I barely knew. I stood up calmly, pulled out my wallet, and put enough cash on the table to cover my drinks and tip the waitress. Then I looked directly at Jessica. "You know what, Jess? If being with me is so embarrassing and boring, you can leave. Actually, I'm leaving. You can stay here and tell your friends more stories about how terrible I am." Jessica's face went white. "Jake, I was just joking around. Don't be so sensitive. Joking about my fear of heights that I told you about in private? Joking about my job that pays for half-hour dinner dates? You weren't joking. You were being mean." I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. Jessica followed me, saying she didn't mean it and that I was overreacting. I told her I needed some space to think about things. Ashley actually texted me the next day apologizing for her party and saying what Jessica did wasn't cool. She said even her friends were talking about how uncomfortable it made everyone. Jessica came over Monday night wanting to talk. She tried to say she was just nervous and wanted to seem funny in front of her friends. I told her that throwing me under the bus wasn't funny. It was cruel. She said I was right and promised she'd never do it again. But honestly, the damage was done. I kept thinking about how easily those insults came out of her mouth, like she'd been thinking them for months. We broke up 2 weeks later. Turns out when someone shows you who they really are, you should believe them the first time.